All right. Mic up. All right. There we go. Yeah, I'm a little tall. Well, welcome everybody on this beautiful sunny and we'll ignore the temperature day here in Glen, Burnie, Maryland for a really exciting announcement from our County Executive Stuart Pittman. I'm Matt Johnston, Environmental Policy Director. Just want to welcome you all today and acknowledge some of the guests that you're going to hear from. We have the County Executive behind me, as well as Council Chairwoman Lisa Rodvian, Kim Koval, Executive Director of the Maryland League of Conservation Voters, and Joel Lindsay, Senior Director of Renewable Project Development for Amoresco, and you'll hear why that's important in just a moment. Also want to acknowledge a lot of the folks in the audience here from various environmental groups and staff. Thank you so much for making it out, and without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to County Executive Stuart Pittman.
Thank you, Matt. And I particularly not only want to thank the folks that are here that you're going to hear from in a moment, particularly our Council Chairwoman, Lisa Rodvian. Thank you for all of your support in this work. But there are some others from county government, our County Attorney Greg Swain and Department of Public Works. Thank you for inviting us out, Chris Phipps, and Rhodey Hullhouse as well from Public Works. Thank you. And our Land Use CAO, Lori Rhodes, thank you. We've got Apostle Thomas and our friend Mike Miller, and all kinds of great people. If I left some people out, I apologize, because we want to get down to the meat of this. So before I start, I just want to note that, and this will embarrass Matt. Matt is our Environmental Policy Director. It's a new position that we created in Arundel County that I promised when I came in. We hired Matt for the job. We couldn't have chosen better. Most of the things that our administration is doing on the environment are because Matt Johnson made sure that they were well designed. He brought them to us. He brought them to all the departments of county government. You may remember 3 years ago, we were at Chesapeake Bay Foundation laying out an environmental agenda, most of which we have implemented. And Matt will be leaving us soon, next month, to go run a nonprofit of his own that is going to hold us accountable in all of the work that he's gotten us started on. And I couldn't be more proud of the work that Matt has done. And this is sort of, I guess it's your swan song here, out on a landfill in Glen Burnie. So thank you, Matt. Congratulations. I promise we will finish what you have started, Matt. And you will call if we don't. So what we're going to announce today is a continuation, a culmination of some of the things that we've done. We still have a long way to go, but you may remember that we were the first county to create an independent resilience authority in the country, and that we put money in our budget last year for that. Thank you to the County Council for approving that budget. Very, very soon we will be announcing the director of our Resilience Authority, and that is to deal with the impacts of climate change with sea level rise and storm surges, and we've seen some of that in the last year, and we know that it is only going to get worse. So we have to be responsible about preparing our infrastructure for those impacts. We also last year, I guess it was 2 years ago, I signed an executive order, and then our county council passed a bill more recently to convert our 1,600 vehicles to electric vehicles in Anne Arundel County. This is our county vehicles by the year 2035. But today, I'm going to sign an executive order that sets a goal of having all of the electricity that Anne Arundel County uses purchased or produced through renewables, mostly solar, by the year 2030. And it's not just a goal, there's actually a plan, and that's in the executive order. And that plan will be overseen and monitored by the Department of Central Services for Anne Arundel County. And there will be an annual report that will identify all the work that's been done each year and all the work that is underway in the future. And I, as long as I'm county executive, and the county council will look at that as well, and I think all of you advocates will look at it as well to hold us accountable and keep us on track for that goal. And we're talking about solar, like the one that we're about to announce here. We're talking about solar on brownfields, on county buildings, any appropriate site that we can find. We're talking about increasing efficiency in county buildings as well. And we're talking about purchasing renewable energy wherever we can't produce it. So, the landfill here, this is a long time coming. I thought we were going to be doing this press conference quite a while ago, but we have negotiated with Amoresco, who we'll be hearing from momentarily, to turn the land behind me into a solar array. So this landfill, this capped landfill that has been producing nothing for the county, is going to be producing energy for the county. And we're going to be signing a purchase agreement for some of that energy. But I want to note that this is not going to cost the taxpayers of Anne Arundel County a dime. In fact, it's going to help the taxpayers of Anne Arundel County. So the lease agreement will generate $3.1 million, correct? Good. And then when we purchase power, we're going to save another $3.7 million for the taxpayers of Anne Arundel County, for a total of $6.8 million by going green. So that's our responsibility as a county. You know, we can sit and hope that other jurisdictions will do the work of reducing greenhouse gases in our world, hope that other countries will do it, or we can actually step up as a county ourselves and do our part. And I believe that when we step up, maybe we're a small part of the world, but we can be a leader. And often good policy starts at the local level. So the state will see what we're doing. Other jurisdictions around the state and the country will see what we're doing. Our residents will see what we're doing, and they'll take responsibility. So the more solar panels you see and the more electric vehicles you see, the more likely you're going to go out and get it for yourself for your home. So if we're going to ask our residents to step up, we have to step up as county government, and I'm just so glad that we're taking that step today. So, am I turning it over to the next speaker, or are you?
Turning it over to the next speaker.
All right, Councilwoman, Council Chair, Lisa Rodvian.
Thank you. Oops. Thank you. Did I just turn it off somehow? Oh, I think Can you hear me? I think I lost the microphone. Oh, wait, I got it. I must have touched the same magic spot twice in a row. Well, I am so privileged and honored to be here and for this really exciting event. I think a lot of us learned when we were little, when we talked about the environment, to think globally and act locally. With respect to climate change, there's been some pretty harsh news in the past week. Apparently a major shelf in the Antarctic continent started to crack and break apart from the continent this week. And we got news that the Bay of Maine has had record warm temperatures. And all of those things, you know, are impacting us on a very large level. But here we are at the local level taking action to reduce our carbon footprint to make a difference. And we just heard that not only do we get the environmental benefit, we get the economic benefit. So I think we can, as the county executive said, be a leader by showing that not only when you take these actions do you get the environmental benefit, do you get to make progress in terms of reducing our carbon footprint, we also save money. We save taxpayers money, we save the county money, and so it's really a win-win situation. I am so grateful to work with the county executive and this administration who has, you know, done really the hard work, and they bring us the bill and we just say, yeah, this is great, and we vote for it, and here we are. So I'm thrilled to be here and to be part of this process and to be able to make that critical vote from my seat on the county council and to encourage my colleagues to do the same. So with that, I will turn it over to Kim Koval from the League of Conservation Voters of Maryland.
Thank you. It's a real honor to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to join in a great celebration around climate change. A few interesting and depressing statistics for Marylanders is that the temperatures in Maryland have increased by 2.5 degrees since the turn of the century. Maryland is one of the 3 worst areas in the country when it comes to vulnerability from climate change impacts. So we not only, and we have lost 13 islands in the Chesapeake Bay because of sea level rise and land submission. So we are suffering from the impacts of climate change. Not a doubt about it. What needs to be done? We need courageous leadership at the federal, state, and local levels. At the federal level, President Biden has put out proposals, funding proposals, action proposals on climate change that are stalled. At the state, we are currently debating a large climate bill and several smaller ones that could really make a difference. There's a threat of a veto of those. And then we get to the local level. And I'm really proud to be here with County Executive Pittman that is showing courageous leadership to address the climate problem. And I am not surprised by this. From day one, County Executive Pittman has been a leader in the environment, and we have had the pleasure of working with he and his staff to advance forest conservation solutions, stormwater solutions, and now climate solutions. So I just want to take the moment to acknowledge and to thank the county executive and his staff for courageous leadership in fighting climate change. This project will make a difference to Marylanders, to the folks living in Arundel County, and we will see benefits not only to the environment, but to the economy, to the jobs, and to the county. So with that, I want to applaud him and thank him for his leadership.
And pay no attention to the wind. If everyone wants to take a step forward, that's fine. It's my pleasure now to introduce Mr. Joel Lindsay from Amoresco, who made this private-public partnership happen. So, Joel.
Thanks, Matt. It's great to be here. It's nice to see everybody out here this morning. Again, my name is Joel Lindsay with Amoresco, and we actually are just so excited to be working with the county on this, partnering with the county. It does take time, and we're moving as fast as we can. It's a great project. We work with local and state governments around the country to build clean, sustainable energy infrastructure. And I just want to kind of echo what others have said. A lot of what we see, a lot of positive action that we see is coming from local governments, from county governments. They're really taking the initiative, and Arundel County is obviously taking a leadership stance in this, and that's very exciting to see. It's very gratifying for us. That's really our bread and butter, to be able to work with entities like this that are really taking a leadership role in building out clean energy infrastructure. The Glen Burnie landfill project really accomplishes several things which are part of that kind of initiative, and that is beneficial reuse of what would be essentially underutilized or unutilized land, like this landfill, that would otherwise lay fallow, and then providing clean energy not only to county accounts through net metering, but also a part of this project actually has a community solar component. So we're actually able to provide solar energy through community solar credits to local residents and businesses that take part in the project. And I wanted to highlight that a little bit. Community solar is really a growing component of solar deployment across the country. And Maryland in particular is really taking the initiative as a state, because there's a community solar pilot program that is really growing, and in fact recently was expanded by the legislature in terms of capacity. And that really allows those who can't put solar on their own property, whether a business or a resident, to take part in a solar project and actually get some of those benefits in terms of energy cost savings and promoting green energy. The project itself, and I've talked to some folks before we started about the size of the project. The project uses really most of the landfill, this north mound of the landfill, and is about 4 megawatts DC in size. And 2/3 of the output of that project will go directly to county accounts in terms of via net metering. 1/3 of it will be assigned for community solar as part of using the community solar pilot program in Maryland. So again, we're just very excited about it. As Matt mentioned and Stuart mentioned, we're moving through the permitting process as fast as possible. We'll be constructing this year, and we're coordinating with Baltimore Gas and Electric to get this project online as soon as possible. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Joel. And we have one more speaker this morning, and that is, and I apologize in advance, but I'm going to do my best, all right?
Go ahead.
And then you'll correct me. Satjuan Khalsa.
That's right.
Okay, all right. Board member of the Chesapeake Climate Action Network and a green building consultant in the region. Satjuan.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be here. I apologize that our director Mike and our staff could not make it today. They're busy in Annapolis wrapping up the legislative session and passing great incentives and policies that help us implement things like this, like the community solar pilot project. So I started working and volunteering on climate change about 20 years ago, and I was lucky to find CCAN early on in my advocacy career. That's the Chesapeake Climate Action Network. Fortunately, I bet on a good horse. CCAN's been really successful, grown from a staff of 2 people in a garage in someone's backyard to 20 to 25 staff, working in Maryland, D.C., Virginia, West Virginia, and nationally on advocacy for climate change. But I'm here to give you some of the bad news, right? I was hoping to work myself out of a job 10 years ago and be done with global warming and climate change. There's a lot of institutional and political momentum that wants to keep the status quo, and the status quo isn't going away easy. So far, climate science shows us we need to take bolder and quicker steps to make up for our past delays. Sea level rise continues, coastal erosion, and the on-again, off-again wacky weather, 60 degrees one day, 30 degrees the next, and are more evident each year. We've got groups of international climate scientists that keep putting out reports on climate change saying the worst impacts are coming and we have to have less time to take steps to change that and mitigate it. But I said I was here to celebrate, because while the science and urgency has gotten harder, some ways the solutions have gotten easier. National policies is still hard, but success on state and county level have been a steady source of celebration. Every year or two, CCAN, along with nonprofit, community, political, and business partners, has helped pass climate policies and legislation to help implement clean energy solutions. Often CCAN is fighting pipelines or power plants proposals or cleaning up existing dirty energy sources. But I'm so glad that in the 20 years I've been in this field, the solar residential options have gone from a payback of 20 years, or a few years ago when I did it for my own home, is 10 or 15-year payback, and now it's less than 10, or sometimes you can do it with no money down. The commercial and institutional options are very much easier as well, along with our partners in projects like the community solar. And this is actually the second time I've been to a community solar ribbon cutting ceremony. The first one I got to celebrate a couple years ago in Prince George's County, and that's actually a place where I have a couple shares, and that helps warm my house and power the car that I used to get here today. So as I said, I'm so glad to be here. It brings me a lot of hope to celebrate positive steps. I look forward to celebrating many more similar projects and actions on the state and local level to bring climate change solutions, clean energy to our houses, businesses, and government. Thank you so much for all the people who have worked on this project and are going to make the next one happen as well. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, speakers. And now, if I could invite all of the staff who had a part in this, if you all can come up here, we'd like you behind the podium as the county executive signs these executive orders. So come on, staff. Come on, don't be shy. Chris Phipps, get up here.
Anybody who advocated for it, too.
That's right.
Everybody
come on up. Get behind the podium. Come on, Mike. I'm going to keep calling you out. Oh, Monica's taking a picture, and then Monica's going to get up here. Come on. Rhodey Holthouse, with your vest on.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm working fast. All right. Where do I sign, Matt?
Oh, jeez.
The last page.
There you go.
Ready? Should I sign this thing?
Let's sign it.
Ready. All right. There's actually a place for Greg Swain, the county attorney, to sign too. Greg.
There he is.
Sign it again. power official. Thanks, everybody.
And you've got one more to sign.
right?
Power
Yes, sign
purchase
them both.
agreement with Amoresco.
Oh, no. Sorry, Amoresco. Alrighty. All right.
And that's
that
for
one done,
6.8
too.
million. All right.
Yes.
Now let's do the next one.
All right.